Hey, Homestead Rescue fans, family, and friends, stay tuned. I've got an announcement to make. I've got some homestead hacks to share and a homestead tip. Yeah, we'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. This is my channel. We're a small homestead tucked high in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest. I opened with a welcome to Homestead Rescue family, friends, and fans because there's an announcement here, and for those of you who have been watching the series Homestead Rescue, and the Rainey family and how they're helping a lot of struggling homesteaders. Yeah, this is for you guys. So pay attention. There's a little bit of an announcement coming up. But Marty, Misty, and Matt came to our homestead a couple years ago, and we filmed a couple of episodes. And then we filmed another episode. And yeah, we've been having some great success because the Raineys dealt us a really good hand. For instance, Misty and the crew, Matt and Marty and my daughter, they built this greenhouse for me. I resourced all the windows from my contractor friends, and with those stockpiled on the homestead, Misty took and designed this greenhouse. At the time when they built it, it was the largest greenhouse she had ever designed and built, which worked out good for me because I think it's 16 feet long and it's 12 feet wide. It's, I think, 9 to 12 feet high. I never did measure it. I should measure it, but it's big. And I've been working like gangbusters to get things going and making sure it's totally functional. Plus expanding the growing space in here by adding shelves and really showing off my eccentric side of me, my artistic side of me. So a lot has been going on in this greenhouse. I also added this resource bathtub that I turned into vermiculture. We're raising earthworms, the red wriggler variety. And this is for the black gold and the worm tea. Worm castings, very beneficial to the plants. I thought this is most appropriate to have it here in the greenhouse. It creates a nice work surface for me. And also resourcing these gutters and mounting them up there to grow strawberries in. I purchased a bunch of these tubs and built these racks, and we're growing out produce in here. Some of it we'll just grow it out in here. Others we've started seed and we'll be moving it out to the garden after the last frost. And then some of it I'm also growing and starting and selling it at a roadside stand and also to my coworkers. Yeah. Now, besides stockpiling the appropriate nutrients that plants need to uptake in the root systems to make them grow beautiful and healthy, I got my stock supply up there. I got my little library that helps me with things I don't know about growing. And plus, I lean on my viewers on the University of YouTube to help me with some of the stuff also. I've gotten some fantastic recommendations. For instance, starting seeds. I took one viewer's recommendations and I put some soil and water in a Ziploc baggie and put my seeds in there, and we put them in the windowsill, in the front windowsill. And I'm hoping to get those things germinated a little bit quicker. We do have a heater in here, and the heater is serving two purposes. It creates heat to help with germination, and I put the specific seeds that require like 80 degrees, 60 to 80 degrees temperature, soil temperature to be able to germinate directly above the heater. Well, that's working. And now I've got my pepper seeds that are springing forth. The heater also supplies CO2 to the greenhouse environment because, take into consideration, it's a closed environment. So the CO2, the plants take up the CO2 and convert it into different products. You can look up the Krebs cycle, and within the Krebs cycle, there's the Calvin cycle that works out inside of that also. You'll have to look it up instead of having me sit here and explain it to you. But it does convert it to oxygen, water, and glucose for energy, and then the Calvin cycle takes and converts it to ATP and NADP. I think that's what it is. I can't remember. It's been a couple of years since I was in college and learned it. So another feature I added to the greenhouse for fertilizing the plants. Yeah, I covered that in a previous video. But for the Homestead Rescue fans, family, and friends, well, I added, with my laptop computer here, I added some music. I personally like classic music, but they say any music will work. Acid rock, one study shows that acid rock music killed the plants. I don't know. I wasn't there. But music stimulates the plant's growth. Like when the birds chirp in the mornings, the plants respond to it, and it's a nice feature to have in the garden anyway, to have nice calm music in the greenhouse and garden. I love coming out here, and I've been planting stuff like crazy. Okay, here's a tip. I went to Dollar Tree and I purchased a bunch of seed and all these little pots. Yeah, the smaller pots come $12 for $1. The bigger pots come $6 for $1. So I purchased a bunch of them so I can fertilize the seeds, sprout the seeds in these trays, and then separate the seeds like I did with these tomato plants into individual pots. And then as they grow out, I can start selling them. That's how I can make a profit from the greenhouse. Yeah. And besides, Dollar Tree is just like $1. Actually, the seed packets, 4 packs for $1. Yeah. So that's some tips for the homestead. If you have a greenhouse, want a greenhouse, or just want to have an outside garden, you want to make sure your garden's fertilized well, try it. Well, they're going to get the CO2 gases anyway, just from the environment itself. Also, worm castings, beautiful. Your plants, you will benefit so much for your plants. And the music, fertilize with music too. If anything else, you'll have a nice garden, and a nice sounding garden too. Music, it's kind of like with the music and the birds, it's kind of like a frequency thing that the plants are responding to. They're not like dancing to the music. No, they're not. Anyway, homestead hack. My waterer, it broke. Yep. That's what I need to reach the high shelves, was with this thing. So this little plastic thing here, it broke. It's a duplicate of this one. So I'm going to glue it back together with super glue and baking soda, because the combination of the two chemicals together create a reaction, and it creates such a super hard bond. It's modelers use it on plastics and metal, hint, hint, hint. Now, I used it the other day on my leaky valve I have to supply water to my garden and greenhouse, and it worked. It was very effective. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this. So let's go ahead and get this done. I'll go ahead and open the glue package. It's got a self-tapper in there. So let's get that tapped down. And then I got some baking soda. Okay, let's do this. Put some super glue here and here. and put this together. And put super glue along here. And put baking soda on it. Put baking soda on here. You can see the fumes coming up off of there from that chemical reaction. Okay, let's put this thing back together. I made sure not to get anything on the inside because that's where I need it to slide over this. Put the O-ring back on. And voila, it's fixed. Now I have my sprayer I can water my plants with. Now this formula of super glue and baking soda works on so many different applications. So if you've broken something, metal or something that is plastic, yeah, go for it. Super glue and baking soda. Actually, you can get both products at your local Dollar Tree. Ha! Save some money. There's a Homestead hack and some Homestead hints. Now, the announcement. They are now taking auditions for the new upcoming season for Homestead Rescue, and they're looking for off-grid families or near off-grid families to audition for the show for the upcoming season. So what you need to do is contact my friend down at Metal Flowers Media down there on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood, California. Her name is Kate Santos. Yeah, just email her at kate@metalflowersmedia.com and let her know about you and your ambitions and where you're living and how you're living, and that you would like to invite the Rainies in to come and help you out with a project to help you succeed in homesteading. Hey, the Rainies helped us, and for that I am truly, humbly grateful for what they've done. Yes. Marty, fantastic down-to-earth guy. What you see on TV is what you see in real life. He is who he is, and he's a character. Misty, such a sweetheart, really hard worker, very intelligent young lady. Matt, you know, Matt helped our family out in a personal way that, you know, really touched me deeply, and I am so grateful for Matt's intervention there. That was, to this day, it's just like, Matt, if you're watching this, I want to thank you, buddy. Really want to thank you. So, that's the announcement. Contact Kate if you guys are interested in auditioning for the show. And I shared some homestead tips and hacks with you and some hints. Yep. So that's this show. I'm Jerry Hansen. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. We're a little homestead tucked high in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest. I like to call our homestead a frugal homestead because I try to do things on the cheap or free up here. Yeah. Please click that bell icon and subscribe, then give us a thumbs up, like the show, and if you can, leave a comment or a tip if you have one. I love the University of YouTube. We share a lot of information with each other. That's how we prosper, is learning from people who are actually living it. Share our videos on your social media platforms, and please be safe and always be kind. Hey, we'll see you back here in the homestead. It's pouring down rain out, so chances are it's going to be right back in the greenhouse. One of my favorite places. Yeah. Oh, we got baby goats. Check out that episode. They were just born this morning.